So this is my dear friend, Jessica Rochholz, or as my phone likes to call her, Rochholz, because, you know, the automatic phone thing never says anything right. Anyway, this is my friend, Jessica. She's got a great seminar planned for us, and I just want to pray for her to start. Father in heaven, please put your hands on Jess. Speak through her. I know she's got so much that she could share with us. She is just a source of inspiration. I ask you to bless her tonight. Bless her as she speaks to us. Give her the words to say, I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, so I am Jessica Rochholz, and just kind of a disclaimer, I have absolutely no degree in nutrition, or I'm not a doctor by any means. You know, WebMD is where I've gotten a lot of my schooling. And so I just kind of do a lot of like nutrition stuff just as a hobby. I love health, and I love to try it out on my husband, much to his dislike. But that's okay, because it gives us lots of things to talk about. So I don't know, it's probably been a few months ago, I came across this podcast by Rochholz, I think was his name, and he was interviewing a doctor who is a gut health specialist. And it's a long podcast, but I highly recommend. It's like a 2-hour podcast, but it was just amazing, the information that he was sharing about our gut and just how vital our gut health is to our overall health. And the doctor's name is Will. I'll have it later in the notes because it's a name that I wouldn't have been able to write down without seeing it, but it's Dr. Will Rochholz, I think is how he says it, if I'm remembering correctly. And he just goes into our gut, and the main thing that happens in our gut is we have these organisms called microbiomes. And these little microbiomes are organisms that basically live off of us, and they are in a give and take relationship with us. So as we feed them the things that they like, then they give us health, and then they work with our brain and our heart and all of the different organisms. I mean, they're just all over our body. We have them on the outside of our body as well as on the inside of our body. And I think that in the podcast, he talks about how on the very tip of your thumb, you have like 39 million microbiomes. That's just on the tip of your thumb. And within your gut, there's a collection of trillions of microbiomes. And as I was listening to this podcast, I just can't help but think, how amazing is our God that He made us to interact with these microbiomes. That, you know, He created the microbiomes to help us, and that, you know, we need them to live and sustain life. And I just think that heaven is going to be so awesome to better understand our body, and just, you know, the food that we eat, and how, you know, all of that comes into play, and just as we interact with our environment. It's going to be so awesome to talk to our actual creator about all of this. But the microbiome, which is the collection of microbiomes, it's made up of many different things. A lot of it is mostly good bacteria. There's yeast, there's algae, and there's some other things, you know, organisms that are in there. And so it's this compilation, this collection that lives within our gut. And we pick these up when we're born, actually. And then that process continues over the next 3 years, where our microbiome continues to mature and to grow for the next 3 years until it gets to a point where it's mature to survive and kind of maintain itself on its own. And these results aren't random. It's not just like, oh, you know, hey, throw in some here and there. The human microbiome is composed of specific kinds of microorganisms that complement each other and their host. So each one is specific to each person. They've tested, and their testing is new. It's just been in like the last 10 years that they've really started to even realize or recognize what microbiome is. So it's all new research, but they're realizing that with every person, it can be different. It depends on your environment. It depends on the food that you eat, and, you know, the water that you drink. Everything has microbiomes in it, and that's what kind of like creates or makes ours. And our microbiome responds to each of those. So it's just really fascinating. And, we could get into so much of that, but we don't have time today. And I probably don't have, all of the facts or the knowledge about it, but I highly recommend, you look into microbiome. If you just Google it, we've talked about Googling a lot today, and just gaining information and gaining knowledge. And I suggest doing that, just Googling it. And I'll give you a list of books here in a little bit that you can read if you're interested, and just to better understand it. So in listening to this guy's podcast and then starting to do some research and reading these books, I was like, okay, so we have these microbiomes, this microbiome that is this collection. So, okay, it's a give and take relationship, and it affects us. Well, how does it affect us? So it affects everything from your mood. If you're feeling tired, fatigued, sluggish, that all can go into play with your gut health. It can affect your heart. Studies are coming out that it can directly affect your heart, and it can affect your lungs. It can affect insulin resistance. Has been another really responsive study that they've been doing on type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, and how it is affected by a microbiome. Our immune system, and this is a big one, especially in this pandemic that we've been in, exposure to the coronavirus. Our immune system is also directly linked with our microbiome. And specifically, they're just in the last little bit are realizing how closely related respiratory viruses are to our microbiome, our gut health. So all of these things, and there's more. I mean, you can reverse leaky gut, you can prevent colon cancer, like I said, diabetes. All of this, they travel through the body, and they can go up, the microbiomes go up into our brain, and how it affects our mood and allergies. And so, I mean, just everything about our body is so interconnected and intricately responsive to what we're doing. And all of this comes down to how we feed our microbiome. So how we eat directly affects how we feed, or how our microbiome lives. So they, in their studies, are finding that they did some studies. So one was that they had individuals that were eating meat, not eat meat for, I think it was like a week. And every day they took a test of their microbiome. And within one meal's time, so like, 4 to 5 hour window, the microbiome was starting to change. So from going one meal where they ate meat to the next meal where they had no meat and it was plant-based, the microbiome had started to change in response to that food. And then as they continued to eat only plant-based, the microbiome continued to change. And then as soon as they introduced meat back in, the microbiome was starting to change again. So it's just interesting, and just mind-blowing to me that, if they can respond so fast. And so whatever we're feeding our body is instantly using, it's instantly rejecting, and it's instantly changing to the nutrients that are found in those foods. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of talk to you a little bit about microbiome, which I gave you an introduction. Again, we can't, in the amount of time that we have, can't hardly touch on that because there's just so much information, and there's a lot that they still don't know and that they're learning. But it's just interesting to see, as God unfolds this through scientists and through studies, it's just exciting to see, what the human body could do. So I wanted to talk about, if food is so closely related to our microbiome, what can we do to improve our health? So in their studies, what they're finding, and I'm not going to go into whether you should eat meat or what you shouldn't, if you shouldn't. I think that, a lot of us have been exposed to vegan, and, that term has been used a lot. And I think that it's everybody's choice. If you want to eat meat, go ahead and eat meat. That, that's not up to me. That's up to you and how, in your body. But I do want to talk about how whole foods, plant-based, how much that benefits our microbiome. So as we continue here, I don't want to get into, you know, the legalistic side of our eating. I want us to have a healthy relationship with, you know, with food and to enjoy what we're eating. But I think the key that I want everybody to take away today is to diversify. So that's kind of the word I'm going to throw out at you several different times here to help it sink in, to diversify. Get a variety. The larger variety that you can have in your diet, the healthier your gut will be. So having a huge variety, you know, eating not just green beans and broccoli and peas, and those are your vegetables because you can tolerate those. You know, trying to throw in different things, throwing in some beets, throwing in some cauliflower, throwing in Brussels sprouts. And it doesn't have to be large quantities either. So what I thought would be, since we're short on time, would be kind of fun is to go through some different scenarios. I am a very visual person and I am hands-on. So I thought it'd be fun to go through some situations, some scenarios. You're getting close to mealtime and you're trying to, you know, put something on your plate, but you're wanting to be healthy. So what are some good options? What are some things that you can do? So I just happened to make up some plates for you so that you can see some different options. So if we're talking about variety and diversifying, you can go as simple as having, you know, a potato and some beans and carrots and green beans. So if we're talking about, okay, we're wanting to you know, diversify. There's 4 different plant-based items in just this one plate. And let's say that, you know, you have a salad on the side. Well, hey, that would be 5. That's a really great meal right there. So it can be really simple. We don't have to make this hard and challenging and spend hours in the kitchen. Okay, I'm trying to eat healthy. What am I going to do? You know, instead of a potato, throw some rice on here or some quinoa. You know, those are some great options. You know, bulgur wheat, and you know, there's all different kinds of grains that you could sub out. Sweet potato, a slice of bread. You know, that would all be great ways to diversify. Lentils, black beans. You know, all of those types, you know, any type of bean or legume, that'd be a great way. And then of course, you know, mix up your vegetables. So it can be super simple. We don't have to make it hard and challenging. And at the end of the meal, this is giving your body everything that it needs. It's gonna feel really good. So anybody suffer from that brain fog or that fatigue after a meal where you just are like, oh, that was a great meal. I need to go take a nap. You know, who has been there? A lot of times when our body gets a lot of processed foods and it needs that rest to be able to go and to process those foods. And probably if that's happening to you, then it goes back to the foods that you're eating. You're not giving your body energy and the fuel that it needs to ramp up and to get you through the next little bit of your day. You're slowing it down so that it can process. So just one thing to think about. Another thing would be for breakfast. There's a lot of varieties that we could do here, but I just did something simple that, you know, probably most everybody has at home. I did not cook the oatmeal, so it doesn't look cooked, but oatmeal, and then maybe some grapes, some cantaloupe on your oatmeal. You could easily add to make this more diverse. Throw in some fruit, some berries or some strawberries. Throw some nuts on there, pecans or walnuts, anything like that. You know, just adding some sunflower seeds, just right there. Let's say that you added in some pecans and some blueberries and some raspberries. That's 4 whole plant foods that you've just put on your cereal. And add in your grapes and your cantaloupe, and that's, you know, 6 different plants that you've just consumed. So that's a great diversity to your meal. Now, not everybody likes salads, so you know, that's fine. I have many individuals that I know that do not like salad, and you can. I know that you're probably gonna think when I tell you this, you can survive without eating salad. I know, it's amazing, but you can. But I love salad, so I love to do different combinations. And this one that I've really gotten hooked on lately is, I don't know if you've been to Panera Bread a while back, but they had this I think they use spinach. I can't remember what the green is, but maybe it's spinach. But anyway, I have romaine here. And then they have strawberries, blueberries, and pineapple with some pecans. Oh my word, it's like the best combination ever. And so I've been replicating that, and so I'm out of strawberries and blueberries to show you, but you could easily switch that up. Add some mandarin oranges on top. Throw on some pecans, and there you go. You have 3 different whole foods right there. And like I said, you don't have to eat large quantities. Put some cilantro on here, or some parsley, you know, or another herb that you like. And there, now you have 4. So it's just really easy to simply add. If we're just wanting to get a diversity and a variety, we don't have to make it simple. Just having a good variety. You know, when we go to the store, don't get hung up on just having, you know, a tomato all the time and a cucumber for your salad. You know, look at some of the other things that are available. Beets or zucchini. You know, the carrots are a great addition. All of those things. So just opening our mind to seeing other, you know, the other whole food, plant-based foods, other than, you know, just we get comfortable with just, you know, our few things that we do and thinking, yeah, we're doing a really great job. And, you know, we're worried about portion control. And that's been another big thing that I've been seeing is portion control. And that's all good. And we need to do that. But don't lose sight of the variety that God has made for us. He's made, you know, the rainbow for us to eat. So don't get just stuck on the greens. Incorporate some reds and some purples as well. So I'm going to share with you. I'll see if I can do this screen share here. Maybe not, because I'm not host. Is that why? Peggy, she left me.
One moment. Oh no. Hold on. Here we go.
I'll screen share with you these resources and a challenge that I have for you guys. Okay. Let's see. You know, I tried it before and I was like, oh yeah, this is so easy to do. And I tried it a couple of times and now it won't let me. Okay, that's okay. Backup. You always should have a backup. And I do. So I'll just show you from my other computer, if I can pull it up here, this resources. So there's going to be several different doctors on here that I have kind of turned to and read throughout the years. So let's see, is that going to show up? Can you guys see that? I tilt it. I know it's not real clear, I apologize. Okay, so this first one up here is the Fiber Fuel, and that's that Dr. Bulsiewicz is his name. And this was the guy that I listened to on the podcast, and his book is called Fiber Fueled. It's a really good book. Then there's probably a lot of people have heard, he's been around for a while, Dr. Michael Greger, and he has a couple of really good books. He has more, of course, but ones that I have read are How Not to Die and How Not to Diet. And then The China Study and Whole is another book that he has. And again, Dr. Campbell, he has a lot of books as well. But those are 2 that I have read, and I thought that they were both really good and easy to read. I don't like to get bogged down in a lot of scientific stuff, I suppose. I don't like to you know, get lost. I like to know what I'm reading. So I felt like, you know, these were ones that I could understand. And then Dr. John McDougall, again, he has a lot of different books. But one that I just was looking into was The Healthiest Diet on the Planet. And then he has many more. So these are some resources that that you can, you know, turn to and look at. And all of these doctors here, they have websites. Several of them have podcasts or like newsletter subscriptions, videos, just a lot of information. So don't feel like, you're just lost and like, well, now what do I do? There's lots of different options out there for you. Okay, so we talked about the microbiome and how closely affected it is to our health and what we can do about that. So here is my challenge for you guys. Don't let this be overwhelming. If you're feeling like you need a change, if you just know that you could do better, who of us could not do better with our health? I mean, really, health is all about just making those healthy substitutions, and we can all do better in our health just by changing out maybe one thing. Maybe we just I just this week was realizing that I'm not drinking enough, and I really need to focus on drinking more water. And so just making that healthy substitution, and just how quickly my body responds is like, yes, that's what you needed, was to drink some more water. So just kind of keeping that in perspective, that we don't want to get obsessed and then we get worn out trying to be this healthy guru or whatever. But we can all make healthy substitutions and healthy choices. So here's my challenge. I challenge you guys to, in the next however long, let's say month, in the next month, take a month's time and mark down all of the whole food plant-based foods that you eat. So anything that is plant-based. And I was going to show you this list that I found that I have printed off. I'll show you here, that I had printed off for myself, because I thought, well, that'd be easy to mark and do. And it just shows all of these different plant foods. And it goes through vegetables and fruit, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices, and then grains. And and then I am for meal, and potatoes and brown rice and
Jessica, can you make me host again? I'm going to have to. Someone's it's noise and it's over you.
Make host.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. So I thought what I was going to do is I'm going to print this off so you can find a list. It's really easy. Again, just Google it. When you Google, you can make a list or find, plant-based. This is a plant-based grocery list is what it was. But I just wanted kind of a list just to get me started, so I didn't have to write everything down. And I thought, I'm just going to mark it out. And I want to see if in the next month I can eat 40 different plants. So start tracking for yourself, and I challenge you, make a list, start writing down or cross this off, and can you eat 40 different plants? Just focusing on getting that variety and that diversity in the next month. And as you do that, I want you to just start to know, how are you feeling as you start to incorporate these different plants and making a healthier substitution. How are you feeling? Has it affected you? Are you feeling better? And just kind of start to notate that, because I think that we can also get where we just make these choices and then it's a while and we look back and we're like, oh, hey, yeah, I am feeling better. Yeah, that did help. I'm not feeling as fatigued or as tired or as sluggish, or it has improved my diabetes and whatever. So that's my challenge for you. Okay, so are there any questions? I saw one pop up. Can you share the list of plant foods? Yes, I can. Peggy, how do I do that? Should I just share it in the...
You want me to type? I can type in your email address.
Yeah, do that, and then I can just email me, and I can send you this list if you're interested in having it.
Just 1 second.
I had a friend text me, you need to start a cooking blog. I love to watch those cooking little videos that people started doing during the pandemic. Aren't they just like mesmerizing? You just sit there and like, oh, I wish that, like when they were done cooking that, it was in my kitchen too. Like, wouldn't that be just so nice? Okay, tips for snacks or meals in a hurry. Okay, that's a good one. And so what I would suggest for that, one thing, Peggy.
I know too many L's, I see.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. One L, people, but I'll do it again.
Okay, for tips for snacks or meals in a hurry. So, you know, fresh fruit or vegetables, those are always really quick. You know, grab some carrots, grab an apple. You know, these little fruit cups that they have, those are easy. If you're wanting something with more substance, I know that there are a lot of different, you know, granola bars that have a lot of the natural food, that don't have a lot of like preservatives and stuff, that are more plant-based. So those would be a good option. You know, a lot of my kids love to do peanut butter with, you know, apple slices, and that's a really good, easy, healthy snack. So just yeah, you know, reading labels. There are some, you know, some good processed foods that are more plant-based, but, you know, just being careful that, you know, they're always going to have a little bit of sugar or salt or whatever. So I think that reading the label is good, and, you know, just giving yourself some grace too. It's kind of a learning curve, and it takes our taste buds a while to switch as well. Any other questions? I know it went quick. Well, it does for me. I am a talker, if you haven't been able to tell. So the time just goes like this for me.
It does. Goes by in a hurry, right? I put a couple of book ideas in the chat there, Jess.
Oh, good.
So the Jamie Oliver, sorry, my sinuses are a mess. The Jamie Oliver, The Ultimate Veg, he's got some really, he incorporates a lot of great spices, okay, and different ways that you can get the, like you said, the different vegetables, the legumes, and different plant-based things. And I actually checked out the Blue Zone's kitchen, 100 Recipes to Live to 100 by Dave Butner. I got it from the library. But it includes, it's the 5 blue zones, the communities that live the longest. And the Loma Linda SDA community is one of the communities that they visited. And there's a lot of good, they've even got haystacks. It talks about how Adventists do haystacks on Sabbath evening, right? And when we have our get-togethers, and it gives recipes for that. But it's got a lot of good recipes in there as well. So
Good.
There you go.
Okay, great. And that's she put that in the comments. So if you want to write those down as well, those are, yeah, some great resources. Thank you for listing those.
I copied and pasted again, because if she came on late or whatever, she wouldn't be able to get to the chats.
Yes. Okay, good. Thank you, Peggy. So those are in the comments. I love it. Do a show where Lee learns to cook. You teach him how to cook live. We should totally do that. That'd be great. He just cooked for me again, the second time in 13 years the other day. So we are making great progress.
That's an awesome idea. I love that.
All right. Well, if there another, you said haystacks, which it's got to be a good cookbook if it has haystacks in it, because I am a huge advocate for haystacks. And that's another thing that I just thought of. You know, haystacks, burritos, tacos. You know, that where you can just, you know, you can really add variety, because you can have your beans, your rice. You can add, you know, lettuce and peppers and tomatoes. I mean, you can really pack on a lot of variety in just, you know, that one meal. So those are good. And those Buddha bowls, oh, those are Angie Joseph makes some good, and Peggy, they make good tofu. So those are good ideas as well. So you can make it as, you know, as intricate, and if you have the culinary skills to, you know, make these, you know, really intricate meals, hey, go for it if that's what you like. But you can make it simple too. We don't have to fret and stress when we're trying to eat healthy, because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm stressed, I eat way worse than, you know, if I just am like, okay, this is no big deal, just, you know, some rice, some beans, a couple of veggies, I'm doing really good here. So just giving ourselves some grace and trying to eat a variety. And if you're interested, email me and I will send you this plant-based grocery list and start marking it off. See how many you can get in the next month, and see, you know, how does your health improve. So, all right, I think that is our time, unless there are any other questions or comments.
We can go a little longer, because my next meeting's not till 6 o'clock. I mean, I don't want to give you like tons, because I got to get ready and take a break, but.
So we have until 6 o'clock, guys. We have an hour.
No. I shouldn't have said 6 o'clock. I have to be on at 5:30, but you know, if there's a few people that have questions, and
okay,
shut you down.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
I definitely agree with Angie Joseph. You should do the show Lee Rochholz Learns to Cook, and you teach him. I think it would be hilarious.
I'm sure it would. Don't know for who, but yeah, I'm sure it'd be funny to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage you, when I first did quinoa, I was really intimidated to do quinoa, and it's so easy. And again, if you Google, I mean, there's videos and there's blogs, and people walk you through it. If you have an Instant Pot, those are miracle workers. I mean, they're just great to have. I love using my Instant Pot for different grains. It makes it really easy, and beans makes it so easy to cook with those. So we can make it easy. It doesn't have to be, again, like we're in the kitchen for extended periods of time. They have a lot of pre-made stuff in the store. They have all those packets that have the frozen ones that have like rice or like cauliflower rice with different other veggies, and use those. Those would be, a fine way to, make a healthier substitution. We don't have to think that everything has to be from scratch. A lot of times we just don't have time. And sometimes that means, going through the drive-through and grabbing, Chick-fil-A, or just making a healthier substitution and thinking, okay, I could do something healthy, healthy at home, and it can be quick too.
Tell us a little bit about the Instapot before we go.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Well, I don't have one, and you have one, and I have several other friends who have one, and they keep telling me you've got to get one. And so I don't know if there's some other ladies that may not know about this invention.
Okay, well, I will show you quickly about the Instant Pot. I love it. I have one of the bigger ones because I just do, a family of 4, I guess. We just do a lot of cooking in here, but they come in different sizes, and there's different brands now too. So I won't go into that because I'm not real sure all of the differences, but I have the Instant Pot one, and on it, they have just different pre-made settings. So when you have it plugged in, you can, if you're doing beans, Liz, if you're doing beans, you can just set it, and it will, there we go, and it will automatically come up with a time on here. So you can use the pre-made settings if, that suits you, or they also have where you can do manual. So, say I'm doing, I do baked potatoes in here a lot. It just makes it easy.
What's the timing? Like, how long would it take for dry beans?
Yes, for dry beans.
And potatoes. I mean, what are the times that something?
What are the times? Okay, so for potatoes, if I'm doing I do the golden potatoes. So different potatoes, maybe a minute or 2 different. It's kind of trial and error. I usually do like 6 to 8 fairly good sized baked potatoes in here, and I do it for about 10 minutes if I'm going to just kind of let it come down on pressure on its own, which would be like a 30-minute decrease. If I'm going to just quick release it where the pressure will come off and I can get them out fairly quickly, I'll do it for about 13 minutes. And that gives me a done baked potato. For beans, I just did pinto beans the other day. I had it full, which is it's a 16 cup pot that I have in here, and I had it full of with water and stuff, and it made 16 cups, and I cooked those for 20 minutes, and I did a quick release, and I thought that it was a little too long because I just wanted them to be, like, I wanted to eat them whole. When I do like refried beans, I'll cook them, and I do those for about 30 minutes, and then, you know, they're ready for the immersion blender to be blended up for refried beans. So that's about
done in 20 minutes, huh?
yeah.
Wow.
20 minutes, and those were soaked. I did soak them overnight, and then I just put them in here. I added some onion and garlic and set the timer. When they're done, I quick released them, and we had beans for that meal. So I saw someone else on here said that they do lentils done in 9 minutes for theirs. I know that my sister-in-law was just telling us, you know, she did rice in hers at, I think they were like 8 or 9 minutes or something like that, brown rice. So yeah, it makes it quicker, especially if you're like me and you think of what you're gonna do for lunch that morning, and you're like, what can I do? Oh, that would be great to have, you know, some rice and beans. Oh dear, I have like an hour, and you know, and so to be able to be quicker in doing some of this stuff, it's been really nice.
Okay, let's see, we have a couple of quick questions, and then I'll need to log off here. Are there foods that reduce belly bloat? For example, pineapple has bromine. Any others?
Okay, so what I know, again, I'm not an expert, but in the stuff that I have read and the research that I've done, a lot of belly bloat comes from the combinations of foods that we're eating, and a lot of it is linked to the processed foods that we are having in our diet along with the other stuff. And again, every person could be different, so I'm not a doctor, so don't take me, you know, take me with a grain of salt, and you know, do your own research. Don't, you know, well, Jessica Rochholz prescribed this. So I'm not a doctor. But what I've been reading and researching, because that is a question that I have as well, it seems like, you know, a lot of times, especially if we have, you know, a lot of beans, we get that belly bloat, so then we don't want to eat beans. But our microbiome loves fiber. And so that's why having the whole foods, the plant-based type foods, they love that, because fiber fuels them and energizes them to give back to us. And so having more fiber in our diet helps with the belly bloating and the gas. So increasing your fiber will help with that. From what I've read, it's not necessarily food specific. Now you may have some allergy or sensitivity that then you'll have to overcome that. But you'll want to do some research through, you know, these avenues from what I've been reading and stuff, and they can walk you through. They talk about food sensitivity and how, you know, people have food allergies, and that you can actually overcome those by going to a whole food plant-based diet. So I hope that answered your question.
And there's one more, I don't know what this is, unless it's not a correct spelling. Do you know how to get more choline in your in the diet? CHOLINE?
No, is that choline? If I remember it, that comes from.
That's choline.
Oh, I'm just not pronouncing it. It's spelled LINE. Choline. Okay, so.
No, I do not.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We can Google that one. I'm curious about what that is.
Go to WebMD. They probably could tell you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, Jessica, this has been awesome. Oh, you got one more?
One last question. Did you order this pot?
Oh.
Yes. Well, I did not. I got it for Christmas, but I have ordered the Instant Pot for other individuals, and it came off of Amazon. I can tell you that. So yes. You can order the pot. Amazon is on there, or it's on Amazon, and I've seen it in Sam's Club as well. So.
And I think like Target and Walmart, don't they carry?
Do they carry the Instant Pot? Yeah, or some version of it.
Yeah, some version. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, this was great. Thank you so much. And we'll be looking forward to the Lee and Jessica
The cooking show.
cooking show.
Yeah, we might have to have another pandemic to get that going. I don't know. I think Lee will run if I tell him we're going to have a cooking
Probably.
show.
I think it would be fun. Miss Gail, are you there? Would you like to have closing prayer for our Jessica?
Thank you. Father in heaven, this has been a wonderful day, a wonderful time this afternoon, and Jessica just really is ending us on a very positive note. Father, we thank you for all that you've provided for us. What an abundant array of choices you've given us. Thank you that we can email Jess and get the copy of those things, those plants, so we can choose 40 plants this month. What a challenge. We're on to it, Lord, because of your grace and your goodness. So please let us go forward. May you give everyone health and spiritual health until we meet again. And we thank you for this day's blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.